Thank you for tuning in to Beacon Marketing's Beacon 530 about marketing this week. My name is Roger Gallegos. I'm the founder and CEO of Beacon Marketing. This week we're going to be talking about something that I feel is an underrated part of success in marketing, and that is consistency. Now, consistency can be broken down in two ways. There's consistency in branding and messaging, and consistency in just the frequency and the amount of information that you share out there. These two things are so important when it comes to marketing because, for instance, if you are inconsistent in your branding or your messaging, you're just going to confuse people. So I have seen companies who use multiple logos and multiple taglines and even multiple colors. Well, then that just confusing because it's like, is this company, is it that company, is it the same company? I don't know. And then if your messaging is different, if you have like a different tone or different style, not that you can't change it over time or adjust it as you go on, but if it's drastic change or you're just kind of going back and forth, again, people don't have anything to latch to. A big part of marketing is developing trust with your audience. You want to create that connection. And if they can't trust your logo or your colors, or they don't understand the messaging, then that's going to go away. And in terms of frequency and timing and the amount of content that you put out, that's another way of building trust. So if you share a blog or if you share a podcast only like once every 6 weeks and it's infrequent, they don't know when to expect it, then they're just not going to pay attention. They're going to go someplace else because probably the worst thing that you could do is tease them and give them a little bit of content. They're like, oh, I like this type of content, but they're not doing it anymore, so I'm going to go find somebody that I do like. So it's like almost you let them know about that type of content exists, and then you back out, you create a vacuum, and they go out and find someone who's developing it. So that's the two big ways consistency help you is in branding and messaging, and then as well as the timing and frequency. So we're going to look at how you can be consistent in your marketing. So as you start going, you start building up that momentum, and it's like a train. You just keep building up that speed, you keep going, and you start developing those leads and converting them and growing your business. So the first step, and this probably should be no surprise to you if you're familiar with any of our content, is you want to develop a strategy. A strategy. This should be your starting point. A strategy outlines everything that you're going to do, because a strategy will lead into what we talked about last week, which is a marketing calendar. So if you develop a strategy and then you actually put that strategy in action by detailing your activities in a marketing calendar, you have your steps outlined. And then it's just a matter of following that roadmap, because you already have it. It's like a dance step. When you know the steps to a dance routine and you've practiced them and you've done them, it becomes easier to follow them. Where people fall in trouble is that they don't have those steps outlined, they don't have that roadmap detailed, they don't know what steps to take, so they have to actually stop and think about it, and that takes time, and then that takes time away from what the other things they're supposed to be doing. So if you do that stuff beforehand, if you say, this is who we're targeting, this is the marketing channels we're going to be on, this is the type of content we're going to be developing, if you have all that stuff figured out and you have it outlined exactly how you're going to do it, then all it becomes a problem is just executing that plan, and that's a lot easier than having to come up with it on the fly as you go on. So that first step is develop a strategy and then just start executing it. Next step, number 2, is start small. I've made this mistake myself, is you don't want to overextend yourself at the beginning. I've done it where, hey, I want to be on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and I go all bore out, and I probably last 2 or 3 weeks before it just starts wearing out because it's a lot of content. It's almost like training for a marathon. You're not going to go run all 26 plus miles all at once. You're going to work your way up to it. Marketing's the same thing. You want to start small, get really good, get your processes down. Say, we're going to put out a weekly newsletter every 2 weeks, and you focus on getting really good at that. Make sure all your processes, you're getting good feedback, and then you say, you know what, we want to be more on Facebook, or we want to be more on YouTube, or LinkedIn, or Instagram, whatever it may be, and you start developing those out, and then you tackle the next one. And so you start building what I like to call a system of marketing. Slowly and surely, you start building that out, and everything starts working together, as opposed to trying to do everything at once. And then what you do is you overextend yourself, and you do everything kind of at 50, 60, 75%. So it's not quite as good as you want it, but you're just doing what I call check the box marketing, because you're just getting it done. So start small, be really good at one thing, then move on to the next thing. Number 3 is communication is key. Communicate with your team. Let them know what you're trying to accomplish so they can help you, so they can come in and lend a hand to you so they can assist you, give you feedback. Because if you try to do this all by yourself, you're not going to do it. I promise you're not going to do it. I've tried to do it myself. I finally had to, I had to go out there and hire a design team to help me. My wife helps me with editing and putting stuff on Instagram. You just cannot do it yourself. So speak to your team, communicate what you're trying to accomplish, let them know what your weaknesses are, where you could help, ask if anybody could help you. Maybe it's engaging on social media or putting together some copy for your newsletter, or maybe even drafting a blog, those type of things. You never know what your team is capable of unless you talk to them and ask them, and you might uncover a gem or two just by asking. So communication is the number 3 thing. Number 4, and I alluded to this earlier, is use your calendar. Again, there's 2 ways to that. First off is in the strategic sense, in the idea of taking your strategy and putting it into a calendar, and then in just the productivity and scheduling sense, if you have to create content, put it into your calendar. Because if you do not put it in your calendar, if you do not schedule it, chances are it's not going to happen. Trust me. This is I'm speaking, you from experience here, where I say I'll record that video when I have time, or I'll draft that blog when I have time, and then if I don't block out the time, it's just not going to happen. So I actually have to go to my calendar and say, on Tuesday I'm going to draft this blog, on Thursdays I'm going to record this video. You just have to do it that way. So use your calendar to block out the time to do whatever marketing tasks you need to do, and then also use the calendar to outline your activities, because again, those 2 things, from a actual productivity sense or from a scheduling sense, will help you get things done a lot faster and get things done more efficiently, and make sure that you get them done, period. So use a calendar is the number 4. Number 5, and again, this is something I've touched on before, is be honest with yourself. Understand your capabilities and ask for help when you don't have it. Like for me, when I first started creating marketing content, I tried to do everything. I tried to do all of the editing and all of the graphic design, and 2 things happened. First off, the graphic design was not good. Quite frankly, it sucked. Just full honesty, it was not good. So I just said enough's enough, and I made an investment. And I've been working with a company called Design Pickle for about 3 years now, and I could not be happier with them. They do a phenomenal job. I recommend them to anyone. Second is editing. I am not a good editor. If you ever see a blog that goes out with a mistake, that is my fault. My wife, who is an excellent copy editor, I had to she's busy with her own business, she's busy with her own stuff. I finally had to swallow my pride. I said, hey, sweetheart, can you please give me some of your time for free and edit a blog a week for me? I'll be forever indebted to you. Being the sweetheart that she is, she did it, and now she edits my blogs every week, and they go out looking a lot better, a lot more crisper, and just 1,000 times better than what I could have done. So be honest with yourself and your capabilities. Trust me, it'll take time off your calendar. It will the end product will be better, and you'll just look better overall. So be honest, ask for help. It'll be a lot better. So to recap real quickly, develop a strategy, start small, communicate, use a calendar, and be honest with yourself. If you do those things, then being consistent with your marketing efforts will be a little bit easier. You'll find that you're able to put out that blog a week, or 2 videos every month, or your newsletter, monthly newsletter, or do all the little things that you always want to do with your marketing, but you felt that you never have time. These things actually put a structure. You'll create that system of marketing that will make it a lot easier to become successful with your marketing efforts. Okay, well, that's it from me today. Let me know where you're at with your marketing efforts. Have you tried this, or do you feel you're consistent? What are some of the things that you are finding that keep you from being consistent? And if you need any help, as always, reach out to me. As always, please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And again, this has been Beacon Marketing's Beacon 5 things to know about marketing this week. My name is Roger Gallegos. I'm the founder and CEO of Beacon Marketing. I'll be back next week with another topic of discussion for us. So look forward to that. You have a great and wonderful day. Thank you one more time. Talk to you later. Bye.